Hi, I'm Shelley Hendry. Welcome to my blog. Welcome to my life. Welcome to my heart. I'd like to dedicate this blog to my late husband, Jim Hendry. He's with the Lord now, and he always encouraged me to write. And this blog is the continuance of the work that we did together for over 30 years, serving the Lord in Christian education, youth work, and toward the end of his life, living history, where he portrayed the great men of history that were his heroes. You'll be able to see many of those performances on my blog and on our website, historycometolife.com. This blog is being officially launched as part of the Michigan Homeschool Convention and the Indiana Homeschool Convention. And I'd like to dedicate it all to him. And I have some object lessons that show you who we are and what's important to us. First, a pair of spectacles, for he portrayed great men of history. Patrick Henry, George Mueller, Stonewall Jackson, J.C. Penney. And it was because they were his heroes, and he wanted their stories to live. He wanted to come to people who were in that valley of vision and to give them hope and courage and perspective, and as glasses do, greater vision, understanding, to chart their paths. He was a man that loved books. You could always tell where he would be found if he could, probably live in a library. And those books gave him courage, just as they give me courage. So if you see behind me our library, this is only a small fraction of it. He and I were building a beautiful library because upon completion of his doctorate, he hoped to give his whole life to Christian education. Well, the rest of it, he'd been in Christian education all of his life, finish his doctorate, and serve as a college professor in a Christian college. But man proposes, God disposes, and the Lord took him home in the midst of his work. But we rejoice because of the work that he did do. And in preparing to launch this blog, I've been thinking about Corrie ten Boom and how when she came home from Ravensbrück, she said, "I am not looking at what was taken, but what remains. And as long as there are lonely people in Holland, there will always be work for me to do." And that is my work, in honor of my husband and for the blessing of my children, and for the new friends that we hope God will bring into our life through renewing History Come to Life, launching our hospitality, publishing articles and talks on my blog, shelleyhendry.com, formerly Smoking Flax, or He Shall Not Quench.blogspot.com, but now shelleyhendry.com, because my son says that's easier to remember. And History Come to Life. I want to continue the work of my husband to give courage that by beholding and becoming, we can be what God made us to be. That by taking courage, I can, as it were, help write a good roadmap for those on the journey of life by looking at those lamps well lit of the stories of God, the stories of the saints of old, all the way to the celestial city, which is sort of the roadmap for us, to see yon celestial city, to journey there, to light lamps of inspiration, courage, beauty, hope, endurance along that journey, which I will one day take as well to meet him, to tell you stories, to read books, just as he did by the fireside, to encourage this generation to daring deeds, to set young people's hearts aflame, hearts afire, that we might receive grace and inspiration for this, the mighty art of living for the Lord. I want through this blog to put before you the stones of courage and hope and faith, all in beauty, that I might light for you in his memory, and more importantly, in the memory of the Lord Jesus Christ, who gave his life for us. A beautiful and shining light for your journey, if you can just see it. I'm reminded of Amy Carmichael and her poem, "For those who are journeying along with me, long is the way and steep the slope. Strengthen us once again, thou God of hope. Far, very far the summit doth appear, but thou art near, our God, thou art near. And thou wilt give us with our daily food powers of courage, endurance, and fortitude. Thou art my portion, saith my soul to me. What a portion is my God to me." Welcome to our life, and be blessed.